Carp-Shaped Giant Fried Prawns. In Taiwanese, this type of dish is what is called a 手路菜 or a churro dish, which means a dish that is especially complicated to make or something that really requires a lot of technique. So what am I gonna come up with? I gotta head to the drawing room and kind of figure that out. Welcome to Taiwan. Hello, 师傅你好，盛师傅。Thank you so much. I'm Jason. 你好，你好，你好。In my search for Taiwan's masterful dishes, I've come to this restaurant in Taipei, who has a 50-year history of serving delicious Taiwanese cuisine. Can you take us around the restaurant to take a look?
往这边走。
Chef Chen, so delighted to be here at your restaurant. I'm here searching for masterful cuisine, and you, as a master of Taiwanese cuisine, you've cooked many different dishes, but is there one particular dish that you think really is able to express the spirit of Taiwanese cuisine? Which dish is it, and why?
我讲的是鲤鱼大虾嘛。
鲤鱼大虾 so carp prawns, okay.
鲤鱼大虾，你做道菜要有耐性。 And
can you tell us a little bit more about this dish? What is it exactly?
这个都用海鲜拼起来的。OK。像它底下有个面包，像面包，还有那个瓜子仁。
OK。
所以属于坚果类。拼凑起来的。
Sounds delicious. So, a very unusual dish. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Could we trouble you to head to the kitchen to show us how this is made?
OK， 可以。
Okay, looking forward to it. Thank you so much. 谢谢。
不会。
Chef Chen has over 50 years of culinary experience, and in his time at Xingye, the restaurant has earned a Michelin recommendation for 5 years in a row. As one of the most iconic Taiwanese cuisine restaurants in Taipei, Xingye and Chef Chen have had loyal diners visiting for over 40 years. With such a renowned reputation, I'm so excited to try Chef Chen's food. I think it's going to be delicious.
现在为大家做的是这一道鲤鱼大虾。
This dish has a lot of complex elements, so the first thing to take care of is the toast, which is going to be the base of the carp-shaped little quenelle. Also, chef has to take care of the spring roll wrapper, which is going to be the fins of the fish. So he's got to carefully cut that out. Lots of intricate, detailed work. That's why it's called a gongfu cai, very difficult to make.
这虾子把它拍成泥哦。
Another really interesting and advanced technique is taking the knife to crush the prawn meat, turning it almost into a paste, and then adding that with the cuttlefish paste, and then combining that in kind of meatball slamming. That's to bind the protein structure together and really make a homogeneous kind of bouncy texture so that when the item is cooked, you have this delicious mouthfeel, and also it helps to lock in that flavor.
然后再把它剥开，这个筋要让它断，要先断筋，这个筋都是没有断哦，炸起来会卷卷的了，不好看。
So in order to build these carp-shaped prawns, we have the layer of the milk bread toast on the bottom. Then we have the giant prawn, which is butterflied open with those little incisions to keep it flat. And then we have a lovely blob of that cuttlefish prawn paste on top, and then little seaweed on top, and then the painstaking work of putting in all these little watermelon seeds and a little soybean eye on the top to really create the illusion of a fish. It's a lot of delicate work, and I mean, no wonder this is one of the classic signature dishes. Everybody loves fried food. It is so delicious. The exact oil temperature needs to be controlled very carefully. As the carp-shaped prawns go in, you can see the slow bubbles forming. It can't be fried at too high of a temperature because the outside will burn without the inside getting cooked properly. So chef really needs to control the length of the frying and also the temperature. It's like the little carp-shaped fish are swimming in the oil. He's gonna make it nice and delicious. Chef Chen's idea of this dish goes even further, not just from the flavors and the textures, but to the final idea for the plating. So he's created this almost a water fountain of vegetable carving in the middle, and you have the dill, and you have the different prawn, fish-shaped prawns kind of nibbling at what looks like kind of underwater aquatic plants. I think that whole presentation is very playful, so that when the dish goes out to the guests, it's kind of like, oh, it's joyful and it's a little bit cheeky and a little bit fun. And I think that that is one of chef's hallmarks, creating dishes that engage and interact with the guest. Chef, this is amazing. This is your carp-shaped giant fried prawns. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dish. And carp, just the meaning of carp in Taiwanese culture and tradition represents prosperity and money and good fortune coming. So even though it's made out of shrimp, it's shaped like a carp. So there's that level of meaning of prosperity and kind of bringing good fortune to your guests. Okay, I'm gonna take a bite. Okay. What I love about it is when you bite into it, so many different textures. You get the nutty crunch of the seeds on the top. These are watermelon seeds. Then you get into the cuttlefish paste with the shrimp paste. It's very bouncy, springy, juicy, and then you get the actual shrimp flesh itself, which is so luscious because you're using these fresh shrimps, and then you get all the crunchy goodness of the toast underneath. It's really delightful. And what I love about it, it just seems very luxurious. It's like a whole kind of sandwich creation, but there's all these layers of textures on it that makes it, the more you eat, there's more flavor there. It's really delightful. Chef, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to taste this masterful dish of carp-shaped fried giant prawns. After eating this, it's given me some ideas to create maybe a dish of my own, and I'm wondering, could I invite you to my kitchen to come taste this creation? Thank you, thank you. First of all, chef's presentation. It's this very playful, interactive type thing. It's like fish swimming in an aquatic scene. I love that aspect about creating a food that takes people somewhere else. It's not just on the plate, it's a whole landscape scene or something different. So what am I gonna come up with? I gotta head to the drawing room and kind of figure that out. I decided I'm gonna make my version of a bûche de Noël, so almost like a Christmas log. I think the idea of cake looking like a forest scene, maybe with some pine cones in there, it's gonna evoke that playful attitude that chef uses in his dish. Starting with my egg yolks, 4 egg yolks. Let me get this stirred up. So putting in half a cup of oil, and oil instead of butter is gonna give a little bit lighter texture. We want a chiffon cake that's nice and spongy, light. A little bit of egg yolk, and then the oil. Pour this in here. So flour, baking soda, teaspoon baking powder, and a little bit of salt. And it's the reaction, chemical reaction between all these things with the heat of the oven that's gonna give us that nice rise on our chiffon. All right, there's our base. I'm gonna set that aside, and I'm gonna work on the egg whites next. So, egg whites, you always want a nice clean bowl, and that way, no grease. You can even wipe it with a little vinegar just to make sure the egg whites firm up. I'm gonna get my trusty little hand mixer. So egg whites, I'm just gonna cut in a little bit, right in just to loosen up the batter first, and then I'm gonna fold the rest in gently. So just be gentle. If you work this too much, you're gonna lose all that beautiful structure from the air bubbles. I've prepared a pan with a little bit of parchment, and I have jelly roll pan, so there's some sides. I'm gonna pour this mixture in. Check that out, that beautiful fluffy texture. And I'm gonna pop it into the oven. It's gonna take maybe 10-12 minutes just to bake until the top is nicely golden and set. And this is gonna be the base for our cake chiffon roll that we're gonna build. So I'm just smoothing this out, and you might just jiggle and tap a little bit, but resist the urge to bang it because you're gonna lose all that beautiful structure. So I'm gonna put this into the oven. Now that the cake is in the oven, I'm gonna work on the filling. So I'm gonna make a walnut mousse. And I love the idea of walnuts with this dish because Chef used little watermelon seeds and pumpkin seeds on there, and it made me think of nuts. So walnut, I think, is a lovely pairing, not super strong flavor, but a lovely roasted quality that's not gonna overpower with the chiffon cake. So walnuts that have been toasted, put them in the food processor. So as the walnuts are grinding, it's gonna release its oil. I want a nice smooth paste. This flavor from the walnut is gonna flavor the mousse. The walnuts are still a little bit crumbly, so I want to add a little oil just to blend this so it gets nice and 1, maybe 2 spoonfuls of oil. That's just going to help the whole thing emulsify. And I'm going to pour in a little bit of the chocolate and continue to process this. I'm gonna pour out my mixture into the remaining bit of chocolate in my bowl, and that's gonna be the base flavoring for the mousse. The mousse gets its structure from egg yolks, so what I'm gonna do is to heat up some sugar syrup. So I have a little sugar, a little water that's just heating. And I need to get this to a nice thick syrup consistency. I'm gonna mix it with the egg yolks and just bring it over a water bath to a temperature where the egg yolk starts to coagulate. And then I'm gonna whip it, and that's gonna be the structure for the mousse. So syrup is boiling, eggs, 3 egg yolks, 1, 2, 3, beautiful. Little pinch of salt. And I'm gonna start to beat the eggs. I'm gonna heat this over a little bit of hot water until the egg yolk is hot to the touch. And then I'm gonna let it go with the mixer until we get nice ribbons. Water bath done. And in I go with the mixer. I'm gonna let this go until we get nice thick ribbons. All right, so the egg yolks have gotten to a nice ribbon stage. They've lightened in color. And now it's time to combine with the chocolate and also some whipped cream. So I've got a nicely chilled bowl, some heavy cream in here, and I'm going to beat this up. You really have to make sure it's nice and chilled. And the whipped cream is to nice stiff peaks, so that's what I'm looking for. So stiff peaks on the whipped cream, this beautiful little egg yolk base on the mousse, and my chocolate and walnut. So I'm gonna combine these two together. I'm just gonna put this in, fold it in real quickly, try to get that all mixed in before the chocolate hardens up. Gotta work quickly, because if you let it go for too long, the chocolate's gonna seize up and you get these hard little lumps in the chocolate. So we want a nice smooth mixture. And now that this is all combined, the texture is nice and smooth, I'm gonna take a quick taste test. balanced, fluffy, nutty from the walnuts, that little hint of chocolate. Just on the edge of sweet. I think it's gonna pair beautifully with the cake. So I'm gonna set this aside and I'm gonna assemble my cake roll. Beautiful cake, ready to go. I'm gonna assemble the rolls. Got some pistachio paste I'm gonna put in. This is just roasted pistachios, and I love this idea of layering two different kinds of nut flavor. So we have walnut and we have pistachio in there, and a little bit of whipped cream. Take a little bit of apricot jam. So I'm just gonna spread this with a palette knife. Important to have the right tools. All right, so then we have the pistachio cream. I've loosened it up with a little bit whipped cream. That's gonna be delicious. Just nice and thin. Spread that on. Yum. And last but not least, our delicious walnut mousse. So a couple blobs here, not too much, because this is going to show up in another form in just a minute in our dish. So just spreading this, getting a little bit over. Now for my favorite part about making rolls like this, the magic of the roll. Just gently roll. I'm gonna just slice off the ends, trim it up. And I'm just gonna frost lightly with the rest of the walnut mousse. Going to wrap this up a little bit. Take it away. Into the freezer we go. So in the chiffon cake with walnut mousse, I have the vanilla chiffon layer, which is a nice fluffy, almost like jelly roll. And then there's a thin layer of apricot jam for some nice tart acidity. And then there's a pistachio cream layer. I love that rich, nutty flavor of pistachios. That's different than the roasted walnut flavor, which is in the mousse. So then the mousse goes on, the whole thing's rolled up. It's coated with a little bit more of the walnut mousse. Just thinking about how it looks good, but has to taste good, and how everything works together. That's what I'm all about. Hello, Chen师傅，欢迎，欢迎，欢迎，好久不见 ，Welcome, welcome. Hi, Crystal, how are you? 师傅来 Hi, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having
and
me.
Rajab, hi, how are you?
Hello, Jason. Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting.
So I'm really excited today. We have a special treat because Chef brought one of his signature dishes. It's carp-shaped fried giant prawns.
Wow.
And I created a dish based off of that dish, so we'll try that second. But we'll head to the table and get to try. It's super delicious.
All right, can't wait.
Yeah, can't wait to try
师
it.
傅真的是很高兴你今天可以来品尝一下我做的料理。但是起先您带的经典的鲤鱼大虾，我们大家来品尝一下，很开心，可以吗 ？OK， 请坐。Please have a seat. OK, come this way. Yeah, thank you.
期待跟害怕都有，因为他想回去把它改变了，改变一定有很多那个困难点一定要去突破才有办法。
Surprise! Yes. This is Chen 师傅's 鲤鱼大虾 or carp-shaped fried giant prawns.
It's adorable.
It's beautiful. So.
来，我当一下，大家服务一下。
Oh, okay. Thank you.
谢谢。
Thank you. 谢谢。
Thank you so much.
I got a 5 and a 7-year-old, and I feel like every time I see food in shapes that's different and unique, it's like, ooh, they're gonna love this because it's fun, right?
Yes.
Before you even eat it, it's fun. Delicious.
Yeah.
What do you think, Crystal?
Well, first of all, surprised because I didn't expect it to be crunchy.
For me, I'm surprised because of the shape, because it looks like a fish, but there's shrimp inside.
Yeah.
And for the texture, I was expecting something crunchy, but it's not crunchy. It's like a creamy. So texture is also good. Flavor is perfect.
The inside is creamy.
Yeah, creamy. Yeah.
Also, in Chinese cultures, I mean, water and fish, it's always luck and prosperity, right?
Yeah.
So for special occasions, this dish just means good luck and prosperity to all the guests.
When I first see it, I think it's like a fish. And then when I just take the first bite, oh, it's not a fish, it's a shrimp. My expectation and what I have was totally surprised me, but it tastes delicious.
吃得很酥脆。
Delicious.
I love it.
All right, so you folks keep eating.
Okay.
I'm gonna put some finishing touches on my dish, and you can try with a little bit of sauce if
So
you
you
want.
also have something special
Yes,
for us.
so I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
be right back out.
Thank you.
And what I'm gonna do is I want this almost like a little bit of a landscape. So I'm gonna take some whipped cream. There's a little bit of brandy in here. Surface here, almost a little bit like bark. Then as we go, a beautiful pine cone. Gotta be careful with this. The forest, blueberries, cranberries, all sorts of little things there. Just a touch. And it's important to know when to stop, so now you have it. Here it is, my chiffon cake with walnut mousse. Jia ba boy, bon appetit. Ta-da!
Wow. Oh, what's that?
So this is my dish inspired by Chef's dish, and
Okay.
this is my chiffon cake with walnut mousse.
Oh my God, it smells wonderful.
Are they pine cones? Or
Oh yes, so pine cones. Yeah,
Oh, those are not real pine cones?
they're not real pine cones.
But they look
yeah.
like a real one.
Yeah.
这造型又把它用刮起来，就跟那个松树很像。
Yeah,
那个皮啊
thank you, thank you, thank you. 师傅帮你切一块，哎，不客气。
I'm starting to get the theme here is things that are pretty to look at, but also taste heavenly in your mouth.
Yeah, I can taste the walnut and pistachio. Oh my God.
And I thought I would put some apricot and pistachio just because in his dish there's layering of like similar ingredients, so I wanted to play off that.
It really does echo the shrimp dish very well. So when you dig in, you find that the chiffon cake is just so dreamy and creamy. The mousse, it melts in your mouth. Again, so these two dishes, I guess one of the similarities is that once you have that first bite, you really can't stop.
You said there is jam inside. What jam was that?
Apricot.
Apricot jam. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Chef, I hope you like it. 希望你喜欢。
这很讨喜啊。
Yeah.
那个松果，它代表的鱼鳞嘛，啊，它里面的馅哦，是在卡兹就是一些坚果类的拌合在一起，吃起来跟它那种口感，大概都一举同工之妙。
I think the best part about eating is getting to eat with other people. And when else is the better occasion than holidays? So just thinking about chef's dish served for maybe a wedding or served for a very important occasion, this dish comes on the table, everyone's like, wow, you remember sharing that dish. Remember, it's not one carp-shaped giant prawn, it's like 10 of them. So it's meant to be shared with other people. And I think my dish captures that idea as well. You're never gonna eat that kind of Christmas Yule log by yourself. You're always gonna be sharing it with family and friends. And I think just trying to capture that spirit of food bringing people together, that's what's so important to me about this dish. There's nothing like a wonderful holiday or get together to commemorate the feeling of celebration with a special dish. And I think Chef Chen's Carp-Shaped Giant Fried Prawns really does that for me, that playful aspect. And I really tried to emulate that in this almost Christmassy themed particular dessert. I love getting to get new ideas and new thoughts and new techniques from different chefs, and I really have to thank Chef for inspiring me to create something new and memorable. I think that we'll have a good memory of in the years to come. So this is Jason at Jason's Table, Masterful Dishes. I'll see you next time. Yeah.
Thank you for having us. All right, bye.